What's up, guys? We're here at AMC Town Square, Las Vegas for Chasing Cinema.
JamesShoe.com.
250 million YouTube video views later. It was the #1 most watched trailer of 2014. The 20 million books sold or something crazy.
100 million.
I'm sorry, 100 million books sold. We're here for the premiere screening of 50 Shades of Grey.
Which is arguably probably going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, releases this year.
100%.
It has already made numerous amounts of history. In Fandango's
broke the records.
In 15-year history, it was the fastest-selling R-rated film, beating Sex and the City. It was one of the fastest-selling movie of the weekends that wasn't a sequel, beating out The Hunger Games. It is the third widest rated R release
in the history of motion picture.
Third widest. You know, so this movie is here to attract and be huge, and as we've seen it tonight and have, you know, since 8 o'clock, people have been rushing in, and people are excited to see this movie. Mr. Shu, have you read E.L. James's novel?
Well, the truth is, I'm gonna surprise a lot of people. Of course I haven't. I really haven't. My girlfriend has.
For a second I thought you said you were.
Yeah, I wanted to say that. No, I haven't read any of them. I know it's a nice little sex romp, if I can say that.
An erotic romance novel.
I'm sorry. My apologies. Yeah, I mean, I know enough of it, I guess.
Yes.
You know, we have Christian Grey. We have Anastasia Steele.
Yes.
Anastasia, and you can tell from the trailer too. She's timid, you know, very to herself.
I honestly didn't know, like, really pretty much anything going in. I was really good at keeping myself blind to the whole 50 Shades of Grey thing. I mean, I was aware of the subject matter, of, you know, of the sexual encounters that they would go on.
That's why I was trying to get him excited.
But this, well, let's get back to the book firstly. That this book sparked an incredible amount of controversy, not because it was sexual, even though it was kind of sexual, is because people kind of took it as, you know, is this abuse, is this, and it's still going on today. There's a lot of Christian groups and other certain groups that are boycotting the film because they feel that it is violent and pro-violence, that, you know, it's abusive, it's BDSM, I believe it's called, right? So I believe that's what they're kind of labeling as violent and abusive, and they shouldn't be doing that. It also got dubbed mommy porn for a lot of people because the major demographic to what a lot of people reading the book were women in, I believe, the age of 24 to 48, like in that age frame, which would be a mother.
I got 100 women tomorrow at 3:30 coming in to watch this with me.
See, that says something. I know a lot of people read the book. I mean, I've heard that people read the book, they enjoyed it, but then they would tell me that the book wasn't that great. You know, like, it was this weird thing where people were like, oh, I read it. Wasn't well written, but, you know, like, so people.
No, I think a lot of people are just saying, like,
just shy.
Yeah, I think they're just shy and they don't want to admit it.
Well, I mean,
you like something, you could just admit it, player. That's what I'm saying.
The excerpts of, you know, have been read by Christopher Walken and Gilbert Gottfried. So from what I've read or heard from the novel, it isn't necessarily the greatest written novel. But what do we know, if anything, about sex is that it sells. So it is no surprise that people are going to be filing themselves in here. But I really don't know what to expect from the movie. You know, I only discovered Anastasia Steele as the main character's name as soon as the trailer rolled around. So I pretty much do not know exactly where the direction the movie is going. I do know that it is a series which include 2 other books, so I'm sure, you know, everything is not going to be resolved in this movie. But I am excited to see it just because of all the hype, and I'm excited to kind of get that huge audiences. I love it when the places are packed. People are excited to see anything. For the movie, though, I'm hoping for the best, but, you know, I'm not sure. As far as the 2 lead actors, I know who Dakota Johnson is because she is the daughter of Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith. She is her first major lead role. I'm not too familiar with the man who's playing Christian Grey.
He's like a model or something.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what to really.
And before this, it was supposed to be the Sons of Anarchy dude.
Jax.
Christopher Hunnam.
Jax, yes.
It was supposed to be Christopher Hunnam. I think that's his name, but it's irrelevant.
He was Jackson. So
and I guess that people were so afraid that people were gonna go against this. Like, dude, you can't do this because all your Sons of Anarchy people are gonna do it. He dropped out, and then now we're here with this.
I think the smartest thing was to do with the more no-name people. And not saying that they are completely no names, but I think it's much better to go that route.
Yeah.
So let's see if it's worth it. And the movie's about an hour and 45 minutes. Get your blindfold and whips ready.
Alright, so we just got out, or he just got out of 50 Shades of Grey. I get to see on Monday. I'm sure I'll be doing a review on it. ChasingCinema.com, 50 Shades of Grey. How was it?
Okay, so I have a lot to talk about here. I did not. Okay, so I've heard a lot of different things from people who, you know, who know what I do, and they say, oh, you're not gonna like it, you're gonna hate it, you know. And people are saying, oh, you know, this is a movie gonna, you know. I mean, I've had my friends' moms and even my family members like, oh, I need to go see this movie, and I'm like, no, you know, that's you go see it on your own. I'm not gonna go sit with you. But I will say,
I'll bring my mom to see 50 Shades of Grey. Damn it.
I will say that
I'm not gonna do that.
That'd be really awkward.
No, I don't want to do that. I was just saying.
I will say that I didn't dislike the film as much as I thought I have. Going into the movie,
You're lame.
The first one.
If you like it, you like it.
But I wouldn't say like, because here, let me break it down. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. I felt very indifferent about it.
You're the game, hate it or love it.
If it wasn't this big, huge movie that people are talking about and selling out, that it's a movie that I would have easily forgotten, a movie that would have easily just been shuffled along the list at my old Hollywood video store that I used to work at. The movie is, I will say, as a major compliment, was actually really funny. I was surprised how funny it was. The first 45 minutes is just a big play on itself.
Is it supposed to be funny? Or you just found it funny?
No, here's the thing. The movie is smart enough to plan itself. They know everyone in the audience is waiting for these people to have sex. No one cares what's going on in the first. They just want to see them have sex.
The first scene.
Tell me, I dare someone to tell me right in the comments and tell me I'm wrong. Everyone is waiting for that first sex scene. And they constantly are making sexual puns and jokes, and the intimidation between Anna and Christian is very playful and fun. And I was surprised by that. And it kind of made me, you know, similar to Kingsman, a movie that we also reviewed this week, it kind of goes in that direction where it necessarily doesn't take itself too seriously. However, in the beginning I thought that was a good thing, but towards the middle of the movie when it gets serious and Christian gets, you know, serious, it kind of hurt, because then I was like, well, do I take him that seriously? Overall, I think my major issues with this movie that really kind of stopped me from enjoying it was the formula. The movie gets annoyingly repetitive in the last half of the film. So it takes them about 45 minutes to an hour to have sex the first time, and then the rest of the film is the constant formula of they have sex. Anna continues to beg and beg for Christian to give her more and to let her in, and then Christian replies with the same line the entire time, that's just who I am. Or it's who I am, and then they have sex, and she begs for more, and he tells them that's who I am, and then the movie kind of just goes in this repetitive formula.
I think she liked the movie.
I think she did too, and it just honestly got annoying to me. And I've told a few people my opinion about this movie, and like you remember when we talked about being repetitive, or not repetitive, but predictable, and you said, well, isn't every movie predictable? I had people say, well, isn't every movie kind of that formulaic? It's only formulaic when I'm concentrating on that, and I'm noticing, not caring what's going on, but I'm noticing that the movie's going into formula type, like repetitiveness, if that makes sense. When a movie's predictable, I know that most movies we could go in and probably guess what's gonna happen, but if I'm concentrating on it, and I'm skipping way ahead of what's going on now, I'm not in the movie.
Sure.
Another thing that really annoyed me, and I think really kind of breaks this movie down for me as a movie that I don't think I will enjoy and want to go see going forward, is Christian Grey. I think the actor did a solid job. I really actually enjoyed Dakota Johnson. I thought she was really great. I thought she was really good at playing the naive, innocent young girl. She was funny. She was able to hold her own. I thought, you know, she really, really portrayed her character well.
Hold her own what?
Hold her own, like, you know, her own power and stuff. But the major problem was with Christian Grey, the character, in the sense that, okay, do you know what this story, like, do you know anything, what's going on?
He's a billionaire, he's rich as hell. She wants real love, boyfriend. Yeah. And he's just like, I'm to myself.
But he won't touch her without written consent. You know, like there's a contract involved, which is actually one of the funny, if not actually the funniest scenes of the movie, is their contract negotiation. Those who've read the book know exactly what I'm talking about. Absolutely best scene of the movie. But you know, what was I saying? Oh, so there are these rules that Christian Grey does not do. Like, for instance, he does not sleep with women. And I don't mean sleep, I mean sexually, but I mean sleep next to a woman. So if he does have sex with a woman, he doesn't sleep with them, he goes in another room. Now, so all these rules and all these things we hear about Christian Grey are to make us believe that he is this cold-hearted person, he doesn't do the emotional thing. He says, I don't do the emotional thing, I don't do the romance thing, the whole movie. Even though, you know, in the back of our heads we all kind of know that she's gonna be the one that kind of try to change him. And,
break him down.
Yeah. But the first time they have sex, well, technically the first night they have sex, because they have sex twice, he sleeps with her. And then he goes back to saying, I'm not that guy. Like, to me, you've already told me this guy is not that guy. He's not the guy that's gonna hold those rules, who isn't that emotional, because he already broke his rules. I don't do dates and take girls on helicopters, but he does that the first night. To me, you're telling me that I'm supposed to believe that this guy's not gonna break that mold. But then you immediately break that mold, you have destroyed that whole character arc. Well, remember last week we were talking about SpongeBob? Plankton, this creature of plankton in a SpongeBob cartoon movie, didn't understand teamwork. We watch his transformation and then see him understand teamwork, even though we know he'll eventually understand it in the beginning of the movie. This movie fails doing that arc. It ends up going like this, making it the most unpaying off relationship. Granted, there's 2 more books. If they end up together or don't, I don't know yet.
I don't know either.
I don't know the outcome. I won't spoil it for you. But the movie does kind of have a cliffhanger.
We still got 2 more, guys.
A cliffhanger type ending. I don't know what the outcome is going to be.
Bum.
But to tell me that
Literally
this guy is the guy that doesn't do emotion, he doesn't sleep next to him, and then have him do it, I just kind of feel like you've totally ruined that character for me, because I already know he doesn't follow those rules himself. So to me, that's what really kept me out of the movie, and I think was a major issue for me. If that's like that in the book, I don't know. And for all those people, because I have already had this conversation, my job is, I don't care what happens in the book. If it happens better, great, but that's not my job. My job is to judge the movie in its ad itself. If the movie doesn't do it, then it's not good. I don't care what the book does. That's not an argument for me to have, because if it is done in the book, oh well, that's unfortunate in the film adaptation. I believe her name's Sam Taylor Johnson, who directed this movie. I thought she did a great job. I think that she took on a really hard project. I don't think the movie is as shocking as everyone is kind of expecting it to be, or believing to be. Like, I wouldn't say the sex scenes are anything that are too offensive or too something we've never seen before. I mean, I thought it was, besides you know, besides a few more visible moments, it's equal to what we saw in The Boy Next Door. You know, just with a little bit more, just a little bit more.
Jenny from the block.
I mean, don't expect, if you're someone who's kind of on the fence about the movie because you aren't as, you know, you're a little bit more reserved, don't worry about it, because it's not anything we haven't seen in the movie before. So overall,
or at least the movies that he's seen. You know what I mean?
No, what do you mean? Overall, I thought the movie was okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I thought it was, like I said, a movie that I would be indifferent about. And if it wasn't such a big name, I think I would have easily forgotten about it. But, you know, I'm sure we'll be back here probably in about a year talking about something very similar.
50 Shades of Part 2. I don't know the title, actually. I know that's not the...
It's
Samantha, you know what Part 2 is called?
No, no, it's 50 Shades Darker. And then I think the other one is 50 Shades of...
Open? Or 50 Shades...
50 Shades of Love? No, 50 Shades of Romance. Samantha, what's the third one called? Jesus.
50 Shades of... We don't know.
Well, 50 Shades of Darker is the one that we gotta concentrate on. I know the third one is something. Is it Steele? Because her last name's Steele? I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure we'll be back here talking about Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele very, very soon.
Well, one thing I think you could at least agree on this. This movie will make money.
The movie already has made money.
Boom!
And you know, that's kind of something I talk about in my review, is that, you know, what a lot of people, you know, it doesn't matter what I say here. You know, I don't want to say that what I do for nothing, but that's not true, because, you know, I think that criticism, film criticism especially, is really important and does do a lot that a lot of people maybe not understand or believe that it does, because they only kind of see criticism as what it is for its surface. But in this business, unfortunately, there's financially successful and then there's critically successful. And this movie's only going to be one, and it's the one that unfortunately seems to matter most in this industry right now. The greatest thing about, you know, I get the question of why films have kind of necessarily declined. It's that it's not as equally art and money anymore, it's more business if anything, and I think that's kind of, that shows here. Sex is always sold, it's nothing new, but people are gonna come.
Boom, baby, hoo-ha!
So.
Okay, so chaseandcinema.com/
50 Shades of Grey.
So you can get the full-on review written by?
Written out, that's not 50.
Oh, okay.
That's F-I-F-T-Y.
If you didn't know, Fitty.
Fitty.
So it's written by...
It was 50 minutes too long. Oh!
You see what it did right there? You see that? Lame. So who's this written by?
Me.
Jake Toronto. So you can understand the madness behind Jacob R. Toronto from New York. Little FYI. Anyway, if you haven't seen our review for Kingsman: The Secret Service, Thumbs up from James Chu, just saying I thought that movie was fan-freaking-tastic. But if you understand why I felt that way, what are you waiting for? Check out that video right now. And then also on Chasing Cinema side, chasingcinema.com/Kingsman, no secret service is needed, and you can read all about what he thought of that, the ups and downs, and the lefts and rights, and the...
If I was to tell you to pick one, I would tell you to go see Kingsman Secret Service.
Boom. But hey, why not watch both?
You can watch both.
Support film.
Only if you need to see one. But we will be back here next week for McFarland USA, the new Kevin Costner film that is brought to you by Disney. That's kind of that whole sports build-up movie.
And Hot Tub Time Machine 2. You say, I only hear what I want to. Alright, 7 days we'll be back. Chasing Cinemas, the film lovers
website.